Greetings, Dr. Noadsmith here, and welcome to the third video of the 7 healthy eating principles. We're going to talk about the final 3, which are increasing your vegetable intake, eating organic, and prioritizing healthy oils. Now, the increasing your vegetable intake is such an important thing to wrap your brain around when it comes to healthy eating. And I like to consider this mantra: you don't eat enough vegetables. You don't eat enough vegetables. The rule of thumb on how much vegetables you should eat in a day is essentially 50% of all your meals should be made of vegetables. If that's the bar that you have, the standard or the priority that you have, you're going to do a really good job of eating enough vegetables. So I know it's hard to wrap your brain around how to do that in a given day. Okay, and breakfast often can be incredibly difficult for people. And I encourage you to think of breakfast as more of a savory meal than a sweet meal. It's a lot easier to wrap your brain around adding broccoli and zucchini and cauliflower and squashes and tomatoes and peppers and all of these vegetables that you love to, let's say, an omelet or steak and eggs or a quiche or something like that. When you add a protein and some fats into that meal rather than oatmeal or cereal or jam and toast, right? And those things are, for a lot of people, not going to be as good of a breakfast option anyway than those more protein and fat rich food items. So anyway, half of your meals in vegetables, and that's vegetables, not fruits and vegetables. Okay, use your fruits for snacks if you need them throughout the day. The fruits do increase your blood sugar. The fiber in those raw fruits helps blunt that effect to a large degree and also increases the amount of fiber that you get in your diet. But we're really talking about vegetable intake here and increasing those vegetables, okay? So eating your banana and your apple and your fistful of blueberries every day, that doesn't kind of take away from those vegetables that your body is craving throughout the day. This is where you're getting your vitamins, your minerals, your fiber in your diet. So the vegetable matter is important. I can't stress it enough. And that kind of leads us into our 6th principle, which is eating organic. Now, I understand that getting organic products can be difficult in some areas. We're in Saskatchewan here, most of our clients are, and we can't just go down to a Whole Foods or a Natural Grocers or a New Seasons or something like that and buy any vegetable, any fruit that we want as organic. So that's where the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 lists that you can download here and are put out every year by the Environmental Working Group are incredibly important because they give us an outline of what products, what items of produce have the most pesticide residue on them and which have the least. So it helps really give you an idea of what to prioritize buying organic. Now, leafy green vegetables, right, soak up so much water into them that the general rule of thumb is buy all of your leafy green vegetables as organic because you're getting so much of that pesticide and chemical residue in that product that you really can't wash off. Whereas other things like bananas and avocados and things that you eat the inside of and not the rind or not the skin are a little bit less important, because those pesticides and chemical residues are usually contained within that rind. And then also using a vinegar acidic wash to wash all of your vegetables is a great way to remove that chemical residue that sits on the food and is not inside of it. So a acidic wash would just be like adding vinegar to the water, something like ascorbic acid, which like citric acid, to your water when you wash your vegetables and fruits. So that would be a little hack on how to clean non-organic or conventionally grown produce. So also keep in mind that there are other products that are not fruits and vegetables that are heavily sprayed and do have a lot of chemicals in them. And one that you probably might not be aware of at all is coffee. Coffees and teas are incredibly sprayed. And for those of you who notice that weird thing in your mouth that happens when you drink too much coffee, I urge you to switch to organic coffee and see if you have that same type of reaction to drinking coffee. Other things that are sprayed that are not necessarily considered produce would be our grains and our legumes, our beans. So those are sprayed to different levels. And so be aware that those things, they might not be on the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 lists, but they are sprayed, and they, when there are organic options available or no spray options available, always preferable. And there's other reasons for purchasing organic and no spray options aside from just the consumption of those chemicals. All of those chemical pesticides and herbicides are getting into our groundwater, they're getting into our air, they're affecting our ecology, they're affecting the workers that are working with them. So it's just something to keep in mind and be aware of. So that would be principle number 6. And then principle number 7 is prioritize healthy oils. Okay. Now, oils are incredibly important to our diet. And the amount of oil that and fat that is optimal for your diet will largely be genetic. Okay, and it's one of the pieces that is so powerful and valuable in the genetic testing that we encourage our clients to go through, because it shows how their DNA, how their genetic profile really handles fats and what is the appropriate amount of fat to be eating on a daily basis. Is a ketogenic diet something that their body, your body, responds to well, or is almost the exact opposite true, right? Is eating a half of an avocado a day enough saturated fat for you? So that will get flushed out as your specific dietary needs are developed for you, and prioritizing the healthy oils for the oils and fats that you are consuming, no matter what level, right, what amount you're consuming them, is going to be absolutely crucial. Now, there's an entire document called Your Guide to Healthy Fats and Oils that is accompanying this module, and I encourage you to download that and have a look at that, because it goes into a lot more detail on what it means to eat healthy oils. But some key points to wrap your brain around and really understand when it comes to oils are that essentially every single part of our body relies on oil because the cells in our bodies are made up of oil. They're made up of fats. Now, when we can, so oils and fats are also very fragile. They can be damaged and oxidize very easily. Okay, and when they oxidize, they aren't really assimilated well into the body, and they cause what's called, they cause what's called an advanced glycated end product, which is an inflammatory substance in the body and actually can lead to things like atherosclerosis and the different cardiovascular diseases that we kind of attribute to a high fat or high protein kind of meat and potatoes type of diet. But it's not the fat specifically that's causing that problem. It's the oxidative damage that's been done to the fat, so that the body is not able to assimilate and use that fat properly. And so proper fat management or oil management is really, really important. So first, avoiding oils that are already typically damaged or are incredibly fragile to begin with. Most of the vegetable oils, the canola oil and soy oil and corn oil and cottonseed oil, they're not quality oils. The body doesn't like them. They're often damaged. They're produced in such a way that kind of leads to them not being an optimal oil for your body. Avoid all margarines and trans fats. These are fats that are essentially synthetic products that have been man-made in a lab. They're not seen by the body as usable, and they will lead to problems in your body. They'll lead to fat buildup. They'll lead to hormone dysregulation. You want to store your oils away from heat and the sun, okay? Because it's heat and sunlight and air that actually degrades and oxidizes these the molecular parts of the fats. So with that, all of your supplement type oils, your fish oils or evening primrose oil, you do want to keep in the refrigerator along with nuts and seeds as well, because your nuts and seeds are so rich in oils that they will go rancid in your cupboard as well. So keeping those nuts and seeds, especially flax seeds, in the fridge, in the freezer, is incredibly important. And then never cook with oils on high heat is incredibly important too. So the idea of frying foods in oil is is not ideal. So I know that this video ran a little bit longer, but the concept and idea behind oils and fats is incredibly important to wrap your brain around, and that fats are good for the body. It's just that there's a lot of bad oils and bad fats out there that have been damaged that are going to contribute to damage and degradation of your body. So check out the corresponding documents on fats and oils. There's a lot of really crucial information in there that'll help you really digest more of that, the details behind that principle. So I hope you found this informative and valuable. And these principles, as I said, just in the final minute here, are meant to make your life easier, to make your food choices simpler, right? So when you go into the grocery store, you no longer see an entire store of options. You see a perimeter of a grocery store. You see the whole foods as options, okay? And within that, you see, maybe half of the produce is not organic and is on that dirty dozen list. And so those aren't options. And so then your options become, well, what produce is quality and fresh and organic, or which produce is not as important that I get as an organic type. And so your choices really become what is available to me that is really going to support my body. And these healthy eating principles can help you develop a more simplified way of looking at your food choices and your shopping choices and building those priorities and standards around food purchasing and the foods that you ultimately eat. So I hope that that is landing for you to some degree. Awesome. Have a wonderful day. All right. Oh.